Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we are discussing the Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris Mariner Memovox. This model launched in 2020. It was a successor to the more limited and historically themed 2018 Polaris Memovox, which was itself a strikingly modern update of 2008's very faithful tribute to Polaris diving alarm. So this is a modern Jaeger-LeCoultre diving alarm watch. Let's see what it's got. 42 millimeters in steel. It's 15.6 millimeters thick from lug to lug, just the case, 48.7 millimeters. If we include the end links to the bracelet, the total distance across the wrist is a beefier 54.1, and there's a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. In general layout and premise, it has a lot in common with the 1960s E859 Polaris diving alarm, but this is all new. There isn't a single common line or feature on this watch other than the general layout. On my wrist, it is large. They're not too big. I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference or larger. And then taking a look in profile, there is a little bit of a step to the crystal in the bezel, so maybe it could fit underneath a sleeve of a shirt, but definitely under the sleeve of a jacket. The bracelet's a lovely piece, as JLC bracelets tend to be, but it's a modern bracelet here. You can see every one of these removable links uses a bar system. So you're going to need a block and a punch to swap these at home, but you have a lot of options. There are several of these. You also have micro adjustment options. Each side of this clasp features a Rolex-like or EasyLink-like in-out snap in, snap out, tool-free adjustment. So it's about 2.5 millimeters on each side of the clasp. So you have two of those micro adjustments. Now you can see these little spring bars located here are the center block of a double fold quadruple trigger clasp. So you really have to press all four for this to open. It is quite shut, quite tight, quite secure. The bracelet has a little bit of a vintage look, but it's mostly modern. You can see the primary links are H pattern and broad. Then we have these intermediates in satin down the center. The case is very different from the tribute to Polaris's. We have these stepped lugs. We have a much thicker case band. We have this profile to the lugs with the beveling that expands in almost an elliptical form and the squared off ends that are sort of downturned. Very modern look. The bezel is modern too, with several facets slightly instepped from the case band, a dramatically cambered and boxed sapphire. That is designed to look like a vintage plexi. Now we also have a couple of features from the old watches, including an internal rotating bezel. You screw out the center crown and it pops out, and it shows you the orange, so you know to screw it back in. But then you've got the ability to adjust this inner bezel. The original Polaris diving alarms came with the Irvin Piquerez super compressor cases that were used on many models. All of them had internal rotating bezels, but the alarms from Vulcain and JLC that used those cases, they had 3 crowns. So this is true to that, although the function's a little bit different, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now you can see the bezel only moves in one direction. I can't even turn it backwards. So the idea is this is a dive style bezel that can only shorten, even if it's left out, it can only shorten your dive, not prolong it. Let's do a loom shot here and get a sense of this dial. Note that the minute hand is green, so you can immediately judge the minute hand relative to the bezel marker. This is a timing instrument. It is designed to be used for timing your dive. The alarm is there as a backup, but primarily the visual one. That's what they have in mind. Now you can also see that all 3 hands, hours, minutes, and seconds, are luminescent, and so is the index that allows me to set the alarm. Which I can set in the dark. Now the way all that works, I guess we should probably show you the alarm striking, because JLC gave us a display case back on this for a reason. It is loud enough to wake you up, which I consider to be a go, no-go for an alarm watch. We'll thread this right back in. Now what's important to note here is that this crown right here allows you to wind the alarm. When you pull it out, it allows you to alternately set the alarm time, indicated by the arrow index, and operate the quick set for the date, which is something that the original Polaris did not have. Now down here, I have the crown that allows me to set the time, which also operates stop seconds, and if I wish to manually wind this automatic winding watch, I will wind it with that crown down there. JLC dials have been uniformly excellent. Some have argued that the 2010s and early 2020s have been something of a fallow period for JLC, and I don't dispute the idea, but I do find that the highlight has been various types of dials, and this one's no exception. Here we have a combination of lacquer, gradient pigmentation, this lovely gloss over a frosted hour track, and then these applique indices. You can see we have orange accents here. This is a much more modern watch than the more whimsically romantic and nostalgic 2018 Polaris Memovox. Of course, 300 meters and 1,000 feet are not the same thing. Click the I believe button. Everyone does it. But the dial's really nice. A lot of nuance. The textures, the tones, the surfaces, the gradients, the colors, everything. Just awesome. Turning it over, we have caliber 956. This is a modern era JLC alarm movement. So automatic winding, it's an automatic winding with unidirectional winding action and ceramic bearings. Those two features making it very efficient. Remember, unidirectional in the real world is more efficient than bidirectional. They're exactly the same on a winder. Unidirectional is more efficient in the real world. 4 Hz beat rate, quick set date, hacking seconds, alarm function, 2 different barrels, one for the alarm, one for the time. You can see this 956 pivots on 24 joules. It's free sprung for durability and precise adjustment. The finishing and the decoration are industrial but attractive. And for many decades, JLC shied away from doing display casebacks on alarm watches, so this may be something you have not seen before. It goes through the master 1,000 hours control. It's automatic winding. It has a 44-hour power reserve, and the 1,000 hours control is a fully assembled test of the watch in 6 positions for chronometry, but also for durability, winding efficiency, power reserve, and water resistance. The COSC is a bare movement 2-week test. This is a fully assembled watch 41.6-day test. Its credentials are impeccable. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.